Hey guys, it's Christian Singer back from CNH Small Engine again for another informative review video. This one deals with an item you can actually use on firearms, outdoor power equipment, and your vehicle as well too. What I'm talking about is I got a couple of balls right here. It's called BG44K fuel system cleaner. It's part number 208. It's actually the new revised cans. What do I call it? They got a new logo on the front. It doesn't have the old logo on it where it says power enhancer, power, whatever it is on there. And they also do recommend it for GDI gasoline direct injected engines on here, and they have a new logo in the upper right hand corner when you're looking at it from a back side, or if you're looking from a front side, it's on the left hand side. And basically I do recommend this stuff for cleaning parts, cleaning carburetors. Basically what I do over here is I normally buy about a 5 or 6 pack of these things on eBay or Amazon, stuff like that, and I normally take like about a 1 gallon thing of gasoline and dump one of these into the 1 gallon some kind of plastic container. Basically it looks like a small cylinder, probably about that big, and you basically add this to 1 gallon of gas and you stir it up pretty good. And if you get a carb that you want to try to clean up pretty quick, maybe about an hour or something like that, just throw it in there and leave it sitting there and soak or whatever, and it'll basically take off a lot of the varnish off the carburetor's internals and on the externals as well too, for to try to do it like a fast clean, because sometimes I really don't want to put in a hard carb solution and soak in there for maybe 3 or 4 hours and take it back out and clean it out and blow it out. And this stuff is actually nice and safe and stuff like that. It is flammable for obvious reasons, because it is combustible for a car out there for that. So it'll definitely clean up carburetors for your lawn and garden nice and quick out there for that. As long as you don't have any excessive heavy deposits, this will basically clean up a lot of the debris and stuff like that on the internals of the carburetor. It's probably not going to work if you get a carburetor that was like sitting for a decade somewhere in some shed somewhere. This is mainly for cleaning carburetors that might have been sitting for, like maybe a snowblower been sitting for maybe a few months in storage, maybe about 8 months in storage, and you took it out and it has a slight amount of varnish down inside there, and you just want to take it apart, soak in some gas with this stuff in there, and it'll basically clean up in no time flat right there for that. Plus, you can also use it for gun cleaning and cleaning of gun parts as well too, because I use this stuff cleaning some of my AK, SKS, Mosin-Nagant guns as well too, because it basically removes varnish and carbon deposits and everything else, because carbon is like a byproduct of you're shooting your gun out, and you do have carbon left over in your barrel and bolt carrier, you get an AK and stuff like that. And all you do is just get some just get a rag and you dab it in there and you clean it up, and it basically works as good as Hoppy's number 9 and stuff like that. They're for that, so even though it's actually more expensive, but it works perfectly fine for cleaning up gun parts. I have not put it down in the actual barrel. I basically just use Hoppy's number 9 all the time for that stuff, but just cleaning gun parts in general, this is definitely a good cleaning agent for that as well too. And the other thing is, it's an excellent additive whenever you want to take your vehicle to get it for the yearly inspection emissions and stuff like that. We're in Allegheny County here, unfortunately, and we have to have the emissions and the state inspection done at the same time. I just had my emissions done and the state inspection in this past end of July here, probably about a week, it was about a couple of weeks ago, back in, like, I think the 22nd or 23rd, I can't remember what it was. It was last week of July. And basically I was on the recommendation of one of my buddies who used to work at one of the local dealerships. I'm not going to name names for privacy purposes, and he recommended this stuff because basically he said when they were coming out with the GDI engines back in 2010, 2011, some of the dealerships were having problems where they would have a lot of carbon build up on the intake of the valves, stuff like that, because the new engines, the GDI engines, they're not the old electronic fuel injection where the actual injection nozzle tip was actually sprayed directly towards the intake valve, and it basically acts as a I'm going to call cleaning agent to keep the intake valve clean. with the new GDI engines, it's basically directly in the combustion chamber, which means there's nothing to clean up on the intake development or for that. So basically, most engines have EGR, plus you have a PCV valve, and that stuff tends to accumulate on the intake valve and clog it up over time, which basically leads to hard starting and sputtering and dying out of your car. And he said this stuff, the dealership uses that, and they spray it directly down into the intake. And it basically flushes out the bulk of the the crap and carbon buildup and debris on the valves down as well too. So you can also put this, if you have a pre-2011, 2010 car that does not have, or a truck that does not have gasoline direct injection on it. I basically put this in my truck at least once or twice a year. Normally I do before I take it down to the emission station and stuff like that. And I was actually experimenting. I put a couple of these cans into the actual tank, and then basically what you do is you go to the gas station, you put a couple of tanks, or you can only put one in there. It doesn't really matter. I always double dose everything anyway, so I put two cans in one tank, fill the gas tank up, and you drive it around for about 2-3 days, and let the gas go down, let it all mix up and stuff like that. And I actually noticed whenever they were doing the emissions tests on my truck, from like the year before to now, the actual emissions dropped about, I think about 15% overall for the emissions on it, because I guess they have to calibrate for each specific vehicle out, and each specific vehicle has a specific parameter where it actually has for the emissions for that class of vehicle, plus the actual engine as well too. And then this actually knocked down the emissions on my vehicle by 15-20%. Even though my vehicle's in relatively good shape and stuff like that, it's not burning any oil and stuff like that. It's a 2008 made 2007 F250 truck, so it's about almost 10 years old right there for that. So this will definitely improve your emissions if you're having problems. Try and get your emissions down in your vehicle. Try to hope it's going to pass or something like that. So I definitely recommend it. 2 thumbs up for a product. I do actually buy stuff. I'm not a paid spokesman per the manufacturer's request, so it's something I actually do buy. I'm not going to give you any bullshit or stag about that. And I do recommend buying it either on Amazon.com, or you can also buy it on eBay as well too. I was torn between both, because sometimes Amazon might have a lower price if they have like a special deal during that month, or eBay, some guy might be trying to liquidate a lot of stock or some kind of liquidation sale. You might be able to get it cheaper on there. So basically you can either get it Amazon or eBay as well too for that. So I definitely give it 2 thumbs up, and it's basically good for your vehicle, gun cleaning, maintenance and stuff like that, or also your small engine repair as well too, because you can actually use this in your lawnmower. You can just put you don't want to put this directly into your gas tank. You just want to basically, if you could have 5-gallon gas tank, and you got clean, fresh, non-contaminated gasoline, just dump this thing in first, then go to your local gas station, fill it up, shake it around, then make sure it's thoroughly mixed, because sometimes if this stuff's not thoroughly mixed properly, it might sink to the bottom of the tank. Because I think it's actually heavier than gasoline, so it's a good idea to mix it thoroughly and completely, because seafoam, it's almost like the same thing. Seafoam, I had guys come over here before, they would put seafoam in their fuel tank, hoping and praying it wasn't going to solve their problems. The problem was seafoam goes to the bottom of the carburetor, and it basically stays there, and it was like flooding out the machine. So do not try to put stuff straight into your gas tank on your lawnmower or tractor, wherever you have it, because more than likely it will not mix properly, and it might cause a no-start situation after for that. So always thoroughly and completely mix it prior to using for your lawn and garden or your car, whatever you have out there for that, guys. So if anybody has any questions, comments, whatnot, where you can purchase it at, or I could probably give you some links and stuff like that to where I got mine from. So just leave me a message here, and I'll try to get back as quick as I possibly can, guys. So have a nice day, and I'll see you.